Okay, so I started watching Pam and Tommy. I have got to say, first and foremost, Sebastian Stan as Tommy, I did not realize he was playing this role, and I love it. And I just want to say, shout out to Lily James for the incredible, stunning transformation she went through for this role. And the first episode, I could use less of Seth Rogen jacking off and being all sad. The second episode is fucking everything. I don't even care if this shit is not 100% true. The whole, like, Tommy and Pam, like, falling in love, it is giving me life. I love every minute of it. I am here for it. It is everything. Them singing to the musical at the end. Oh my God, again, I don't care if that's true. I'm here for it. It gave me all kinds of life. Like, I'm not even joking. Okay, and him talking to his penis was hysterical. Do you want to meet him? I can so see Tommy Lee in real life doing this. Oh my God, it is everything. Episode 2 so far is beautiful. It's perfection. Lily James and Sebastian Stan have embodied these roles. I know they were having all kinds of fun with this. I'm loving it. I'm here for it. I'm gonna go watch episode 3 now. You know what's amazing about this show is that this guy put out this sex tape. He stole this sex tape, put it out, all because he wanted revenge on Tommy Lee. And I feel like the one who got the worst of it was honestly Pamela, and she didn't have anything to do with him screwing him over. But it's just like, on the flip, I have to say, Sebastian and Lily are so good in these roles, okay? They have such chemistry. Am I crazy? Am I the only one noticing how much chemistry they have? They are so cute together. Like I said, I don't even care if this stuff is like, I'm loving the story that these two are telling. Like, oh my God, I love it so much. I'm so here for everything with Lily and Sebastian in this show. I'm so here for it. Oh my God. Okay, so episode 4. Oh, it's so hard because, like, I just have to wonder if this tape never was stolen and came out the way it did, would Tommy and Pam have had a better shot? Because I really feel like they loved each other. I mean, at least the story that I'm getting from this portrayal expresses that. And oh my God, like, I mean, she essentially had that miscarriage because of all this shit. That's terrible. And this Rand guy never had really anything happen to him. He didn't go to jail. It's like, how is that even possible? It was theft. It was illegal distribution. I mean, this is so, oh my God. I can't even imagine, like, the strain that put on their relationship. And I mean, her miscarrying is a good example of that. And it's just, oh my God, though, seeing her go after the paparazzi at the end of episode 4 was good. It was cathartic for me for her. Like, oh my God. And I do feel like there was real love with Pam and Tommy. And I just have to wonder, you know, would they have had a better shot if this was never stolen? And it's just like, oh my God, the way that Sebastian and Lily are portraying them is so amazing. I mean, bravo to them. I'm so here for it. I'm so in love with these portrayals and this whole story that they're telling. And I like that they're keeping in mind that this was real people, that this was a true violation, and it was wrong. I mean, and this is the strain that it put on them, and oh my God, like, bravo. I really appreciate that, they're telling this side of it, because it was always deemed like a big joke in the 90s, and it's just not right, I mean, this was, they are doing such a good job. Like, I love it. Okay, so after watching Pam and Tommy episode 5, I'm just going to say, like, this is the episode where things start to shift to the not so happy moments, where things started kind of going haywire. And I actually also just watched TNT's Rich and Shameless, The Crime of Tommy Lee and Pam, kind of like a docu thing. You could tell the people they had on were friends, but I have a feeling they were past tense. Like, they're not friends anymore, considering Tommy and Pam aren't even commenting on the Hulu show, and they didn't have any comment for the documentary thing. So I got the feeling that those people were friends with them, no longer friends with them. Well, actually, one guy at the end said, the tape ruined their friendship. The thing about this documentary that really got me is the daughter of, what's it, Milton Ingley, or he was called Uncle Milty, the porn king, that's like portrayed in the Hulu series, in fact. His daughter, Helen, I mean, okay, I understand that that's your dad. You're going to defend your dad, but it's like, one minute she's saying, oh, I feel like I knew, but my dad left me in the dark. But, then she turns around and says that they were ride or die. And it's like, wait a minute. You knew what was going on. This is my opinion. I feel she knew, and she's trying to save face. Because then at the end, she's all like, the tape destroyed him, and it's what took my father away from me, and he was a good guy. And I'm like, he literally banked off someone else's stolen property and left you to deal with it. I mean, he literally put her in the middle. He had her fly back to LA from where she lived to go and like to the safe deposit box where he had the tapes. And then he had her destroy them. Stolen property, the original tapes. And it's like, didn't she want us to almost like feel bad for this man? It's like, no, honey, I don't feel bad for him. I mean, I just really kind of got annoyed with her portrayal. And again, that's her dad. I get it. I'm not going to feel bad for your dad. And no, I don't think he was a good person. You make all this money, and you not only make the money, but you run away to another country and leaving everybody else to deal with your mess. And then she's all like, oh, I really feel like the tape destroyed him. It took him from me. And I'm like, yeah, hello, that's called karma. Although I will say, she did point out that she said that Rand Gautier, the electrician, the jilted electrician, didn't really have as much to do with this. He stole the tape, but then like he didn't make the money off of it that he thought he was going to make by the end of it. And I'm like, again, karma. Because last I checked, none of these people were brought to justice. But the point is that this was stolen property. And this was a newly married couple who was in love. And this tape screwed up their lives, okay? It screwed up everything. And to sit there and think that she did this for publicity is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Mainly because it hurt her career. It had people taking her less seriously. She had to work harder because of this. So it's like the people that the dude that was on this documentary, I don't even remember his name, but he was like a radio DJ in LA, and he's like sitting there like, I don't think this tape was stolen. Get your head out of your ass, dude. Of course it was. Like, it's been proven multiple times that it was freaking stolen. There is a police report that proves this. Oh my God. Episode 6 was like this yo-yo of my emotions back and forth between that awful, disgusting, over-the-line deposition by that fucking piece of shit soulless lawyer. And I just have to wonder, there were so many times I was like, I wanted her to turn to her lawyer and be like, what are you doing? What are you being paid for? Because seriously, he did nothing. And then, like, you know, this episode started off with her boyfriend in Canada, who, if that was true, ew, like, I'm glad she just, like, walked away from that. Talk about living your best life and getting revenge, though, because she was like, I'm now a Playboy model, bye-bye. Yeah, this episode was really emotional, just the back and forth of just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that they take a lot of liberties with this show, but honestly, I really appreciate that it shows that this, you know, it illustrates very clearly this was a crime, and Pam really dealt with it pretty much by herself, which that's the other thing. I'm like, why didn't they call Tommy into the deposition? Why was it just her? This was an emotional one. So the latest episode of Pam and Tommy, I can't believe there's only one more till it's over. This one was interesting because I like that it shows the struggle with Pam and like how embarrassing and just violated that would have been to be in this spotlight, having this horrible thing happen, and people just treating it like it's a joke. Like, I really do appreciate that this series really shines a light on that. And I think that that was driven home by the fact that Rand, the guy who stole the tape, his woman being like, really calling him out on it. She was like, dude, you don't even think about what you did. And I also like Tommy in that moment when he's like burning the money and he's like, you didn't even realize what you did to that sweet woman, you know? Like, and I like that we're seeing that Rand wasn't having success and he was getting his ass handed to him, which he fucking deserves. I mean, I appreciate that, you know, this episode really illustrated the struggle, yet at the same time, Pam taking charge and being like, you know, standing up for herself and really taking that moment to be like, this is never going to happen again. Oh my God, the last episode. Okay, so I waited a little bit because I honestly didn't want it to end. I felt every single moment, emotion in this episode. I think, hey, maybe this episode should have been called, what was it? Kickstart My Heart On? Ha ha, not. I mean, like, how sad was it, though, seeing her in that theater after they went to the movie premiere, watching Barbed Wire and hearing people laugh? That was so sad. And speaking of moments that made you sad, when Tommy was all joking around about at the bar about how Kickstart My Heart On, seeing Pam see that was like really indicative of how different it is. That video, the videotape was for her versus Tommy. It was a very clear illustration. Overall, I just can't even imagine the immense scrutiny that they felt they were under due to this tape being stolen and exposed. I couldn't even begin to imagine that. In addition to Sebastian and Lily just absolutely killing these roles. I mean, they captured all of the emotions, the love, the tenderness, the frustration, the anger, this being scared, the anxiety. Like, it was just illustrated so incredibly, amazingly, perfectly well. Okay, so I am going to say the only time I felt bad for Rand is when he got screwed over in the beginning with the money and his tools and time and all of that. Granted. I hope he did feel bad, you know? Like, I really hope that he did, because he had a very weird ideal of karma, like a very messed up ideal of karma, but I did find it hilarious that he was so angry about getting stolen from, because that was irony right there. I'm glad that he was able to at least acknowledge that he did hurt Pam and he did do her wrong, even if it was to her lookalike on the Hollywood Strip. I really liked when he said that he apologized to his ex-wife about how he feels bad for women having to put up with men and their, basically their bullshit. And it's like, amen. Thank you. Can we just say again how perfect Sebastian and Lily were on the chemistry? I mean, it's like magic in the fucking forest. It was absolute perfection. They acted the fuck out of these roles. Side note, that internet dude was a weasel, but I've never seen anyone so thrilled to be sued ever. That was so fucking weird. I love the excitement of their going away, running away little trip, but Vegas was probably not the best idea. And that little moment when they were in the elevator with that little family, that was just a really sweet, kind of like simple, obscure moment. It kind of broke my heart when she wanted to sign that contract without Tommy, even if she could sign it with, not that she could, but at the same time, I like totally understood it. She was just like, I just need some kind of mitigation on the distribution here, And I totally get why she left Vegas and took the car and didn't tell him. And I love that he's like taking the fan's motorcycle and the guy's just like, yeah, it's an honor. Okay, so when he got home and he had his outburst, here's the thing, she was ignoring him. Now, this is interesting that they put this in Pam and Tommy, the Hulu series, because this is actually something that triggers real Tommy in real life, stemming from his childhood, as explained in his book. And this is something that I'm going to get into on my Motley Crue review that is upcoming here very soon. So stay tuned for that. And speaking of Motley Crue, I have to say the lookalikes in this last episode of Motley Crue were pretty good. I mean, they're pretty decent. And watching the little 90s kids kind of roll their eyes as Motley Crue performed at Tower Records. And it's like, oh man, it kind of like hurt my 80s heart. And how funny was it when Nikki on this episode was walking Tommy through how to hook up the internet? Oh, so funny. And then, like, I have to say, like, Tommy said it best that, him and Pam are really good together when it's just them. It's the world that's fucked. And this is something else that I will also be hitting on in my Motley Crue review upcoming. I really, really, really appreciate that they showed the birth, because the birth is something that Tommy really talked about a lot in his book. And it was just really beautiful. It was a really beautiful scene. Again, they just acted the hell out of that scene. And side note, I'm pretty sure she did not change the Tommy ring finger tattoo until after they divorced. I don't believe she changed it that early on. I also really appreciate about this series that, they really illustrated their love quite beautifully. I think they captured that passion, that excitement, all of the emotions so very well. And I know that the real Pam and Tommy had nothing to do with this, but I just really appreciate that this series really illustrates that this was a crime, because in the 90s, this was not really emphasized at all. People thought it was a joke. So I think it's super important that, this really illustrated this was a crime. And the people involved really, outside of karma, which, I didn't feel bad for Rand at all. Like, he brought everything on himself, that was his choice, and he knew what he was doing, and I didn't feel bad for him, because that's karma, baby. But like, outside of karma, there was no police or like judges, like nobody got brought in for this crime. So I'm glad that they really illustrated the pure violation of this couple. And I'm going to stress that no, like, having private property stolen and made public not knowing that this is happening for public exploitation in this case is not the same. Like, the fact that they made her out to be, because she was in Playboy, oh, this private property that was stolen from you should be the same thing. That is such a toxic male ideal, and it's just despicable, okay? It is not the fucking same thing. Not at all. And I like that she had her moment of like, this will never happen again. I'm going to have a whole other video coming up for Motley Crue with some thoughts on Pam and Tommy and the books that Tommy and the Motley Crue wrote, and I am just super excited about that review.